Against Vihiga. The return match will be played this coming week. Now we want to cross over. We want to speak to Western Kenya and Football Kenya Federation NEC member, and that is Tony Kwea. Good afternoon, Tony. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good to have you here on Scoreline. Of course, we want to get, first of all, congratulations for winning the NEC seat for Western, but we want to know what plans do you have for, what plans do you have going forward?
Thank you, Robinson. And we now taking, this is the first term, like we're treating this as a first term. The last term was to clean up the mess we had at the Federation, starting in all the departments. One, we inherited about 210 million of debt, and we've been paying slowly by slowly. So within that, we've had a mixture of paying all debt and at the same time running Federation programs. With the head, of course, with the leadership of Nick Mwendwa and the Deputy President, Doris Mwendwa. What we did last, in our first term, in terms of coaching, we have trained about 3,500 coaches. We need to pick up from there, train more coaches. We also had, we trained more than 4,000 referees across the country. We're also picking up from there, training more referees. We have under 13, under 15, that the program that was started by the National Office is running all through in all the counties, all the counties of Kenya. And at this moment, you're taking it more seriously at a higher level because it is as we are funding the program. From there, we've had also an under 13 national team, under 15 national team. Another focus is on women football. And you've seen our girls performing so well. We looking at it as this might be the easiest path towards the World Cup dream. We now, you've seen we've had a NEC member women, a first one that has never happened before. Now what we're doing is that we want to focus. She'll have to assemble all the NEC women in all the branches, plus the sub-branches when the elections come. Then they start rolling up the programs for women. The women, we will also have under 17, under 20 in terms of national teams. So it's a serious program, and we're hoping that we'll also partner with private, corporate entities for us to realize that dream. We've had coaching courses which were funded by the National Office, but at the moment we are appealing to all well-wishers because this is not a journey that one person can be able to walk alone. We have other interested parties, like we had a coaching program recently in Western, in Luanda constituency, where the MP and the Kenya Sports Academy, we teamed up, and the Federation, we teamed up and trained 40 coaches. We're also going to have another program in Western, in Ikolomani constituency. We have also teamed up with the local area MP, and we are going to train other coaches. We are also teaming up with institutions like Sigalagala National Polytechnic. You are in talks, currently, at the moment you are in talks, to train more than 40 coaches at that institution and the surrounding areas. So that is only part of the program that we are trying to bring on board.
Yes.
This starting our new term.
Yes. You've spoken about training coaches. Last week you were in Vihiga for training where I think almost 50 coaches were certified. But how has the program generally been throughout the country?
I told you from the start, we started training because we found our coaches at zero. So we started training our coaches and we've had about 3,500. Then from there, we have moved a step higher. We have trained now Class C. And Class C is a step higher than Class D. At Class C, we've trained about half of the 3,500. Then we're also moving another step for Class B and Class A. And also that requires resources. And we know with the limited resources that we have as a federation, we might not be able to achieve that dream exactly the way we wanted it. There was a huge gap between the players, the talented players, and the coaches. But now we are trying to cover in bringing in, especially the qualified ones, and that will only happen when we train them and they acquire the necessary skills to come and now start training the young ones. Our vision is when a player is trained in Mombasa or a player is trained in Kwale and one is trained in Kisumu or Kakamega, the coaching material is the same, the curriculum is the same. They will not have a problem when he's transferred from Kwale to Kakamega to come and fit in our coaching system. We're also partnering with schools, and we're training mostly the schools, because at that moment when the kid is young is when the kid is being able to be taught. So we don't want them to be taught by those people who are not qualified or trained.
Now, of course, let's move away from coaching clinics that you've been having around the country. Let's move into referee training. Sometimes Kenyans feel that, our referees are not equipped the way they are supposed to be in terms of knowledge. What do you have to say about that?
It is true. Before we came to office, and I think you people of the media will justify that, there are a lot of chaos in our field of play. Every match could be disrupted. But I think progressively we have seen some improvement. And that comes through those trainings. Every time before a referee steps in a field, they have to be tested. And first of all, they have to be trained, given the necessary material, the changes, the law of the game changes every other time. So they have to be trained. Then before they go to start the season, there's what we call PET, physical endurance test. They have to run. They have also to be tested in class. So before one steps on any field at any different levels of competition, they have to be tested. When those who fail, they are brought back, retrained again. They are given a chance to apply and now become a qualified referee to now referee our games. So what we are saying is that, yes, the gap is also still there. And our programs is we didn't have even instructors, referee instructors. We trained them. We now have a lot of referee instructors, even coaches. They are now starting to train. We started a long time ago, but it's also a continuous program. Even as we speak, you've had to talk to another MP in Western who is taking up, and we are going to partner with that MP so that we train those referees. At the end of the day, his constituency will benefit, FKF will benefit, and Kenyans at large will benefit from that program. So it's an ongoing program, yes, and we are serious about it as a federation.
You mentioned, football in schools, and if I may ask, what are we doing to ensure that we empower these young ones so that the conveyor belt that should be in terms of talent, keeps on going?
We had a very huge gap between what the schools are doing and what we FKF are doing. So we at one point FKF was doing their own thing, but not in any sense knowing what the schools are doing. So as I told you, we are now in partnership with the schools. We are giving them qualified coaches. We are giving them qualified referees, so that at one moment we know that at that early stage, when the young one is still at school, that is when we can correct. And now when the product comes out, going to the national team under 17 or under 20, we now have our final coaches to polish. We're not starting up at the national level. We are only polishing what has been groomed and made at the lower level. So in this, and I remember the last national competition we had for schools, either secondary or primary school. Yes. FK was presented, and I was there. We even donated some balls, some uniforms like I donated to my Western teams. I was in Kisumu when there was that national football competition. I participated, and now we're starting to work together. We're also trying to roll out programs to the schools so that they also have been able to follow what we require as FKF in terms of football management.
Also, we're still talking about talent. Of course, we've seen the under-13 team, that is the under-13 national team that is normally housed here in Nairobi. Are we going to see more talent centers set up countrywide?
Yes, very true. And when we came in, we said we didn't have enough money, but we said, let's have a pioneer school like what we have there in Nairobi. It's just a pilot project. We wanted to see how it will work out so that we roll down. We have already identified those venues in our respective regions. So we'll have a center of excellence in each and every region. That is our dream, so that when we leave or we exit the stage, this is what will also be counted as people who invested in youth football, because that is the backbone of football in any country, in any setup, in any club. Without youth football, there's no football.
Yeah, that is true. And of course, we've been out of action when you talk about top tier league in the country. We've been out of action for almost 7-8 months. But people are questioning whether player welfare is well catered for in the country.
Yes, we might say at the moment, because remember, a player is a property of a club, and they have their contract with the club. We come in as FKF, we have player status committee. If a player feels aggrieved that the club has not done anything, or they have done harm to him in terms of they have not honored what is written or signed on the agreement, they'll come to FKF. FKF will now arbitrate between the player and the club and give justice where necessary. Two, when a player now comes to play at the national level for the national team, it becomes a property of the federation. So at the federation, we take care of the player, especially now that we have both girls and boys, we treat them equally. Gone are the days when our girls will sleep in the changing rooms and the boys will sleep at Utali or Safari Park. Nowadays, we treat them equally. Gone are the days when our girls will wear, our boys will wear a uniform, and then tomorrow our girls wear the same uniform because of discrimination. Nowadays, the girls, their uniforms are ready, everything. Like when you say that we're taking them seriously, the boys and the girls, we take them equally in terms of welfare. At the club level, it's a contract between the club and the player. And there's a set standard. We have set standards and we've given them to the clubs so that we know that a minimum a player must be paid this amount. So that if a player feels aggrieved, will always come to us and will help sort out the problem if there's any.
Tony, before I let you go, there were allegations that came out on the reports that were on newspapers this week that has just ended that you had withdrawn some cash from the Kakamega, rather from your office, and you're supposed to report to the DCI. What do you make of those allegations?
Those are just wild allegations. You know, we're just coming from our elections. And the people who came up with those stories, they said they came up to revenge because I didn't support them. So everybody knows, especially those in the football circle, they know the allegations are false. And it will be, at the end of the day, I'll be vindicated because there's nothing wrong that we did.
Thanks a lot, Tony Kwea. I really appreciate for your time. Of course, Tony Kwea is the FKF and NEC